obviously it's that time of the week again. We have WaifuGate back on deck with the fabled Jeskai Land Destruction deck. Now, I haven't actually featured this on the channel very much. Maybe one video so far. Maybe one video. But it's still one of my favorite decks right now. I've been on a really big kick with the Chaos One deck, but this Jeskai Whirlwind of Thought Land Destruction deck I think has big promises. So we're definitely going to work on that. But WaifuGate was like the first real test subject. He did like it a lot, so that's progress, because he usually doesn't really like land destruction at all. He kind of hates most of my decks, but he said he did have a lot of fun. So it's a great video. Make sure to check it out. All of his social media links will be in the description below, so definitely make sure to give him a follow. His YouTube channel, he's doing a lot of that. His Twitch stream, his Twitter, all of that stuff. Just make sure to go check him out. Luckily enough for us, Waifu actually already did a deck tech, so we didn't even have to do anything. We're just gonna kind of jump into his video, see what he does, see what he likes about it, see what he changes. Let's just go from there.
So we've got a deck donation to cover first thing here. StriderStone donated a while back, and he's wanting to do a YouTube video for that. We're going to be playing this today. It's historic, I believe, with the Star of Extinction. So I don't think I need to change anything aside from just the sound settings here. I'll go ahead and sleep it up and stuff, but to give you guys an idea of like what this deck does, from a first glance it looks like it uses like ramp in the form of Blood Sun and Lotus Field. Like just being able to forego the conditions of this coming into play tapped, and when it enters, sacrifice 2 lands. So if we have Blood Sun up, this comes into play untapped, and then you can just tap it for 3 mana. So it's just really good, good efficiency. Like once you can actually get it done. Blood Sun also counters Field of the Dead, which I think is still a thing in Historic. So you have that main decked, which is kind of nice as well. Doesn't stop them from like Teferi bouncing the Blood Sun and then shape shifting or whatever they want to do, but it's at least some mitigation against that list, which is cool. To clear the mines, I imagine, just so we don't run out of stuff to do. And then I think we eventually just win the game through Dawn of Hope, I believe, is the only win con here for the most part, and just making the opponent super sad. I don't know what happens if this gets exiled. I think we scoop, but I don't know. Hopefully it doesn't get exiled on us, though. So let's go ahead and sleep up. And how's it going, Prime? We're going to be doing some YouTube stuff for StriderStone. Like, he's going to take this and turn it into going out and making sure I do my best to sort of analyze the deck before going in. I'd say having 8 sweepers in best of 1, especially when like Field of the Dead is a thing, like we can clear off Field of the Dead quite a bit. Star of Extinction it. This shuts off Planeswalkers, and we're not running any Planeswalkers ourselves. Elspeth Conquers Death feels weird here because we're not getting anything back from it. Like there's no recursion. So I'm not sure how I feel about this, aside from it just being like okay removal. Like the exile's super nice. But we'll see. We'll see how it pans out. So initial impressions, weird, feels weird, champ. Like the idea of this just because it gives us a draw engine. I think I would like 2 Dawn of Hopes here, especially since we don't have any lands that like produce creatures or anything like that. Like we can't obviously with Blood Sun, but other than that, like that's my first impression. We'll see how this does in an event here. It'll be the first time I've done an event for a minute. Traditional standard. Is there a historic event? Is this at best of 1? I think this is best of 1, right? Is this Jeskai control? Yeah, sort of. It's Jeskai control, best of 1, historic, I believe. I think I'm in the right spot. Otherwise, it wouldn't let me. Hopefully, this isn't best of 3. Here we go. We'll see how it performs. I think this is an okay keep. There's no ramp or anything, but I think that's okay. Like, I actually don't know how to play this deck much. I think we keep a sweeper, though. I think that's okay. So all of my lands come into play untapped with a mountain here, so... And just chill out here for a second, I guess. They're not doing anything either. I don't think you're allowed to take 3 turns off as mono red. That's kind of an issue. Thing is, if I don't hold off on Clarion, we could be in trouble. I only have 1 sweeper right this second. I think I'm gonna search for Blood Sun, maybe. Whirlwind's pretty good here too, I think. Like Whirlwind, just to get card advantage going, seems okay. And then we're able to like wait 1 more turn on this to see if they develop more. Yeah. See, now our Clarion's... I think holding off on that was super... Because, like, they can have more stuff, but it's fine. Yeah, I just Clarion here. And then we've got, like, this, or Heliod's here. They probably have a follow-up, like Robber of the Rich or the 3rd War Boss, I imagine. We needed, maybe we needed, ooh, that's not good. And I could just Elspeth that before it does a bunch of damage, but I kind of want to start getting advantage from this. It's just like I realized that I can just die from 1 Spitfire. I know that's a thing. Especially if they develop more creatures or Cavalcade or something here. It could get pretty dangerous, but I think I need to start getting value off of this. Oof. Yeah, we might just be dead, actually. That's kind of foolish of me not to remove this. Vault. Okay. It's not the worst, honestly.
My friend is here to help your pain.
We just remove this and draw a card potentially with Elspeth's. That thing can just do too much damage. 3, 6. We just need a land off the top, and then we can kind of stabilize here. We need some, like, once we get rid of Tibalt, we can gain life here. Hey, and thanks for the host, Coop. How are you doing, man? So hopefully land off the top. Oof, no land. That's okay, though. I guess. So Heliod's isn't really doing anything here. We probably just haphazard and try to draw into a land. Okay, nice. So we can do the Star of Extinction. Waiting on their response here. They could just shock us end of turn and basically destroy us. We're also not getting anything back here. Oh. I think I'm going to do all of the lands. Just because then they'll be a little bit strapped. Like, we're going to be blowing up Tibalt anyway with Star of Extinction if we're allowed to do that, so... We hit a mountain no matter what here. Might have been good to hit one of the tokens just to see. I think that we can't gain life while our opponent has Tibalt out. What I think about that. Okay.
Played.
So we lose 2 life here, so if they have a shock, we're just done. Or if they have a hasty dude. Please no shock. Woo. Let's sacrifice 2 lands here and just kind of chill out for a sec. Okay, we should be fine now.
Stop calling me that.
Hey, and thanks for the follow, man. I appreciate it, Coop. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll just take that. They still believe. Let's go Whirlwind first. Get to draw a card here. Blood Sun, draw 2 cards. Glacial Fortress. I think I'm just gonna cycle this to draw a card as well. Sort of chill. We can gain more life here. Once we gain more life, I think they just scoop. Honestly. Like, they're not really getting there. They're an aggro list. They probably want to go to the next game, but you know, I guess you can just shock if you want to, though. Go ahead and Immortal Sun, draw 2. Just looking for Dawn of Hope at this point. Start pumping out like tokens and such. Cycle this. How does this deck win? Yeah, Dawn of Hope tokens mostly, yeah. Okay. So we play Dawn of Hope now. What is this madness? This is a StriderStone special. What it is. This is our win con. Right here. Okay, they're all set. Okay, so first game, there we go. Easy game. Against a weird mono red list. But we'll still take it. I also think I'm getting my quest done, which is pretty cool. It's like just efficient. So this is the deck, in case anyone's just tuning in. Or you're just watching the YouTube video and you're catching up. Got like 3 Whirlwind Denials, 2 Clear the Mines, just so we can cycle and not run out of cards. Because this is best of 1. Got 1 Dawn of Hope for the win con, basically, and with Immortal Sun. And you just try not to play Dawn of Hope until you have your engine set up to where they're not having much land to respond to you, basically. And that's pretty much it. Things that I would change is probably like one more Dawn of Hope, just in case this one gets exiled somehow, with like an Agonizing Remorse or something. Like I feel like if that happens, we don't have a way to win. Like, we would have to wait for our opponent to deck out. We can't use Castle because we have Blood Sun. Use Blood Sun plus Lotus Field for pseudo ramp. And so like Triomes and stuff come into play untapped and all of that good stuff. This seems okay-ish. We're up against Luris, so it's probably going to be like Cat Oven type stuff. Oh, it's Cycle. Like Cycle and Historic. A little weird champ for sure. But check it out. Wait, what? Those Aureus Flyers, maybe. Aureus Flash. We're gonna run this out anyway. If they counter it, it's whatever. And thanks for the follow, man. I appreciate it. Euchre Sen, you've been around though. I don't know how you weren't followed before. How's it going, Title? Yeah, I think I'm just gonna try to develop like Blood Sun here. They shouldn't even care about this. They might, but it's like it shuts off their some of their stuff. But they probably just hold back a counter spell, and we kind of lose to this. It's gonna be pretty boring. It is what it is, though. It's fine. We get to Lotus Field, which is pretty good value here. The thing is, like 3, 4, 5, 6, like we're almost dead to them pumping stuff. Like I guess I'll just try to haphazard. They probably just counter this. Games are going pretty well. We just beat Mono Red and Historic with Strider's deck here. We're doing a deck donation for him. Yeah, that's fine. It's rough. It is what it is, though. 4, 5, 6, 7. If they can flash in a dude, we just die. And even if we can't, like they just flash in a dude after we like try to board wipe. Like we could try to make a dude to we could try to make a dude to block, but then we still die anyway, pretty much. So I think it's just like Shatter the Sky or bust here for the most part. If they have it, they have it, which is fine. Like they've got 2 cards in hand. They could very easily have another flash creature as well. We're 1 shy of paying for this as well, which just feels bad. We just scoop that up and it's fine. That's it. Like, we kind of lose to counter spell decks that also run creatures like Tempo. Kind of a rough one. We'll just move along here. It's just mono use splash white for Luris. Yeah, it makes sense. This looks risky. But I think I keep it anyway. I don't know though. Because like if anything we can play Sulfur, and then a Lotus without hitting mana for Blood Sun. If we hit an untapped land as well, it'd be fine. Maybe I should have looked at how many lands we're running. So it looks like we get this anyway, which is... Because then we can go Blood Sun into Lotus Field next few turns. Looks like they're running blue though, so we might be in trouble. Feels like decks running blue kind of counter us a bit. So we just Blood Sun here. Draw. So we've got some board wipes, which I don't know if it'll be super useful or super relevant, but we'll see. We also shut off a lot of Planeswalkers with Immortal. The problem with Immortal Sun is that it's super weak versus they're like reading Blood Sun, new card. The thing about this deck is like this is super weak to ECD, and we don't really have anything for that. Yeah. I guess they can bounce Blood Sun. That's fine. We just play Blood Sun back out. And then play Lotus Field. Ramp by 2. Fires. Okay. Good morning, Penguin. How are you doing, dude? Hopefully they just don't find ECD. They found Shatter. They probably have ECD as the problem.
That's more like it.
Okay, so we find ECD as well. We could do Immortal Sun. The problem with Immortal Sun is that it's sort of weak to ECDs. I think that I want a Haphazard Bombardment on their lands here and just try to tax them that way. Elspeth also makes it like cost more for them to do stuff. We'll just do this on there. Start blowing up their lands. Doing pretty good, Penguin, because I just don't want them to be able to cast ECD. If they can't cast ECD, then I can run out Immortal Sun and we don't have to worry about it. And then we can start removing like fires and such. And we know that they're not countering us because of this. So they can dig one time with Narset. If they can find something. They lose one land no matter what. Okay. Wonder what they're gonna grab. Maybe just like a Disenchant. Or Haphazard. Sun Globe, yeah. Yeah, this is a pretty fun deck. So far I've enjoyed it. We hit a bit of variance last game with hitting a really terrible matchup for us. Which was basically mono blue tempo. So they went and grabbed a Nicol Bolas, which they can't cast because they've already played a land. Okay. And how's it going, Misha? How are you doing, man? They get to look with Narset, they whiff, which is cool. Yeah, it's sort of Jeskai control. It's like a land destruction deck. It's from StriderStone. Hopefully we get like Star of Extinction off the top here. That'd be pretty sick. So I think I just develop Immortal Sun. And then we can Elspeth Conquers Death. I think I want to do it on fires, honestly, just to take them off of that. And now they lose another land, so they're down to 3. No, you can't activate those. Mortal Sun says no thank you. See you later, man. So this is the list. It's super memey. I don't think it's like super competitive, but if you're looking to just have some fun, it's definitely good. It punishes some of the greedy fireless with like Immortal Sun if they can't quite get Elspeths down. Like if you hit your Haphazard and you ramp like we did. So your ramp, so to speak, is Blood Sun into Lotus Field. And then we win after we start controlling them and they have like 2 lands. We start pumping out like 3 or 4 Dawn tokens a turn. And then we have Immortal Sun, so those are all 2/2s. So like we win pretty fast after we get rolling, but pretty sweet. Like it's just memey, and it has like Star of Extinction to blow up planeswalkers, to blow up lands. Like it's just a fun list. I don't get this. I feel like the Elspeth Conquers Death, like it's good and it taxes your opponent, but I feel like we might have a better slot here. I'll have to see. Like I definitely want like one more Dawn of Hope just in case ours gets exiled. But we also have cards that allow us to search for enchantments in our deck and put it into our hand. So like we can grab Whirlwind Denial to get card advantage to keep drawing cards. We could get Dawn of Hope, which is our win con. I feel like a one of like Ixalan's Binding or something could be cool too. Just because we lock down our opponent and we don't get too punished with bindings as much. So being able to have like a removal on tap that's super strong would be nice. Feel like we could do a little bit more with that instead of just having Elspeths. Like maybe one Elspeth's, an extra Dawn of Hope, or like just like a Prison Realm or whatever, like some type of exile effect, you know. So here we can kind of keep this. We've got the island here to keep this untapped. If we hit one more untapped land, which is possible since we're drawing a card like we're going second, then we can kind of set up for playing Blood Sun before we cast Lotus Field. We don't have to sack the 2 lands, which effectively ramps us. That's not a land. We need a land on this draw or the next one. Iasan Wanderer. So no land here, which is sad. So it looks like a spicy one. Spicy list that the opponent's on. Like Gruul enchantments, maybe? No clue. Oh, Kiora. Ooh. Maybe you're ramping like us. Need a land, come on. Oof. Yeah, I guess we just have to play it, man. Sadly. Because we just don't have any other option at the moment. Like, that's just it. Like, we can't just not play a land. We could have floated the mana, but we have nothing to do with 2 mana. Like, if we had a 2 mana play like Dawn of Hope, we could play Dawn of Hope and then do it up. So their deck is super weak to like Star of Extinction if we can get up to that amount of mana, which is nice. Immortal Sun also helps us versus Kiora. Not so much with their card advantage, but other than that, we're probably fine. They also have Lotus Field. And then they can use Kiora to untap that to get insane ramp as well. Yep, so now they have 3, 4, 5 mana, so they could go like Omen, yep, and then that allows them to reveal a land, right? Yep. Pretty neat. So they didn't hit that. Yeah, Lotus Field is super fun, dude. It's still an M20, you can actually play with it in standard, it's just not as common. They get another one of these, which allows them to look for another land. This deck is going to be pretty hard to stop. Thankfully, we can Star of Extinction their Lotus Field once we Blood Sun, and Lotus Field no longer has hexproof. So they just smack us for 1, which is... So we can go like this, draw a card. Now the downside is that their lands will also come into play untapped now, like their Lotus Fields, so they can have insane plays. We really need to hit. We probably just need to Elspeth Conquers Death on that Kiora, honestly, because this is just too much ramp. Like the moment that they go like Hydroid Krasis or something else, like I don't think we really make it. Yeah, that's too much. Like, I think they're just going to go over the top. Like, they made use of Blood Sun way more than us, for the most part. Well, not really, but sort of. So they get a fresh Kiora. Honestly, that wasn't that great of a Genesis. Like, yeah, it hurts us a bit, but it's fine. Time Twist, my mutated how many with 1/1 counters? I don't know. Okay, so they're Urowing here. Yeah, we definitely need to take care of that Kiora. I'd say Elspeth Conquers Death on that. Or like an Immortal Sun, but they could just answer my ooh, we might have to Shatter now too. Ugh. Just too many things to do, honestly. They have too much mana. They also have Blood Sun. So they're just drawing a card here. and potentially getting a land. Yeah, I think we lose to this. Like you see their resources. Yeah, I think this one's pretty scoopable. Like, they're down to 33 cards, but I don't think that matters. It's just too much, I think. And we miss our land drop, which is pretty brutal. Yeah, even if we shatter, if we don't, they have extra lands here. We can't Haphazard Bombardment either. Like, they're just gonna do too much here.
Stop calling me that.
Thanks for the follow, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think I just scooped this one up, man. Like, as much as I like staying in it, yeah, I'm not gonna sit through them faying and doing other stuff. Like, I'd rather chew on tinfoil, honestly. Like, they just ramped up before we could stop them. Like, that Ikoria kind of put them up over the edge. So we'll just go on to the third game here. I'm pretty happy with 2 wins with this, like my first rep in. Like, if we happen to variance out here with like bad draws. Best of one's very swingy. But I've been enjoying the list either way. We don't have a companion from our opponent. So no information there on keeping, like, you know, 2 board wipes here. Heliod isn't great. This is sort of top-endy. This can get us out of a rut if we're able to draw into more lands. I don't know, I guess I can keep it going second, but it's very skeptical. If StriderStone was here, I would ask him if he wanted me to keep this or not. That makes it a whole lot better. Like, you don't understand how much better that makes it. Because now we definitely have lands, which is good. Or at least one. Like, 1 extra land here can make the difference for sure. Because then we can miss 2 land drops and not be stressed. And we still have things to deal with our opponent. This looks like maybe Feather. I think that I would Clarion if I could, but since I don't have the mana for it, I think I just play a land tapped and see what happens. Opponent might get some value off of like shocking us, getting an extra shock. Chandra is kind of a problem. Don't really have a good answer to her right now.
Go get 'em, buddies.
Probably just gonna have to Clarion this this Dread Horde by itself, just to prevent damage from leaking through. As much as I don't want to, you know? It's like really low value to go 1-for-1 with a Clarion, but we have to do what we have to do. Next turn, depending on what they do, we can go Whirlwind into Shatter probably.
I brought company.
They have 4 mana here. They have some type of a banner effect for these elementals. It could be pretty bad. And thanks for the follow, man. I appreciate it. Yeah. Lotus Field is kind of okay. I think I do just develop Whirlwind of Thought, though. Kind of chill here. They could have, like, Mortify or something for this. Like, something weird. A weird champ moment. Revitalize, sure. So it looks like they're trying to counter other aggro lists a little bit. We are slowly losing life, but we can have a burst of life with Heliods, which is nice. And if they happen to have like an enchantment-based win con like Dawn of Hope or something weird, we can answer that as well, which is nice. Best draw would probably be Blood Sun, because then we could go Blood Sun, Lotus Field, not lose the mana. Okay. So they're just cycling a bunch here. They discarded a lot of creature removal there. So here we could Heliod's just to gain life. We can't haphazard, otherwise that would be really, really good. So like what I could do is Heliod's and then drop the Lotus Field and sack lands just to get that down. You can't grow a beard. Oh yeah, the automated bot response there. So Heliod's would gain us 2/4 life, right? 4 life, and then I would be able to play this, and I would be able to draw a card. I think that's pretty okay, but they might have enchantments that we might want to answer. Let's go ahead and just float. Play Lotus Field. Okay. 1, 2. Then we can Heliod's for. I think it's just. Okay. And now we have Bombardment, and we can just maybe take out this Chandra plus lands. If we can get rid of their 1 black source, that would be super awesome. What's the secret? You have to use castor oil. So you can become, see how that's cold pressed? Castor. You can become a wizard, a cold wizard, like an ice wizard. That's the... Okay.
Hey, these little guys
We
are
just block here. Well, I mean, yeah. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the opponent. I definitely think we're just going Haphazard Bombardment on like this, a land, and maybe Chandra, then another land. And hopefully we hit the okay, they shock. Okay. Nice. Good. I don't know what's going on. We get to draw a card here. Sure. Elspeth's is good because I can hit Chandra with it. I think I just leave Chandra there. And I just hit lands here. Got their only black source, which feels pretty good. So we're in pretty good shape here, though. Hope you're having a good day. Hope everyone's having a good day. First paid sub ever. Nice, dude. I appreciate it. That means a lot. I just I did 2 subscriptions. Normally I never subscribe because we just can't afford it here at the streamer house. Like budget's pretty tight and everything. So like normally I can't afford to sub out, but I was really fortunate in like being able, like people supported me super hard one day. Like I got a bunch of gifted subs, lots of bits, etc. And I just felt like giving back, and it was nice to actually do my first sub, you know. We'll just block here, which is fine. Those are discarded. Okay. So here I could just double up on the haphazard stuff. I think that's the right call. But I also like Elspeth Conquers Death on the Chandra here.
I don't have enough swears right now.
So they can cast one of their things from the graveyard here, which is probably just going to be a Revitalize. No, they can't. It's only 1 mana, right? Power. So unless they equipped it. If they equipped it, then they can do, like, anything, for the most part. But yeah, I was able to sub to StriderStone and to the Gravecrawler, both people who have been supporting me since basically I started my stream almost. Like StriderStone in regards to magic, and same thing with Gravecrawler. They both started to support me pretty early on. So we'll go ahead and block here, we might as well. Oh, okay, so we don't actually stop that anyway. So now we need land destruction on that thing stat. Which is pretty easy to do. We just drop this, which is mastery. Okay, that's kind of an issue, I think. This isn't really doing too much, sadly. This is kind of rough. Because we're just going to be feeding their graveyard for the most part. It's a very tricky matchup, I would say. I also don't know why this has 2 counters on it. Oh, it's because the Dowsing Dagger already had the counter, I see. So I messed up there. How do I deal with this enchantment? I just start pressuring their life total. So they get an extra turn after this one. Oh, they might actually just be able to go infinite here. Interesting. Their stuff does cost more, but I don't think that really matters too much. Nice extra turn. We are stopping them from getting black mana if we can get rid of this, which is nice. So check this out. So I can clear the mind on them. I think that's a super funny play. Because I don't have my clear the mind here. I think I need to Clarion for sure, just to clear out the table, and that'll let us draw a card. Okay, nice. So now we can go Blood Sun, draw a card. We'll draw 2 cards, right? Then we can cast Lotus Field. And then I could go like this and set up for next turn. Oh, wait, why is this indestructible? Oh, it's not indestructible until end of turn. That's really annoying. Guess I'll just do this. That's pretty unfortunate. So is this... Yeah, that has indestructible forever, then. Chance for glory. Oof. Yeah, I mean, I guess we just get a Dawn of Hope token and eventually win. Okay, so they're just gaining lifelink, which doesn't really do too much. I guess they get to draw a card, which is fine. They're probably just looking for lands and such. Not really too worried here. We're pretty favored to win, I think. Still. So let's go ahead and Blood Sun here, I think. We could Immortal Sun to draw. Get to draw 2 here. Whirlwind of Thought seems fine. We get even more mana here. I'm going to go ahead and clear the mind on them. So I don't have enough for Haphazard Bombardment, so I'm just going to go Blood Sun. Trying to find like Dawn of Hope here, basically. We have to discard 7, which is fine. Okay. No, we won't. What's the win condition? It's Dawn of Hope. Dawn of Hope is our win con. So they're just drawing a card here with this. That's all they're doing. They're just trying to draw into a win con. We can also just gain a bunch of life here with this too. Okay. Let's go ahead and haphazard. We'll go with the other lands here since this thing's indestructible. This creature's just indestructible, so put another counter there. Go like this. I think I just want a Heliod's here, honestly. So we're out of burst range. 7, 8. Oh, we had 9. Whoops. Come on. I roll. That's true. That's a good point. So we're just gonna look for Dawn of Hope here. And then just start making dudes. We've already played a land for the turn, so we pretty much just end now.
Stop calling me that.
And thanks for the follow, man. I appreciate it. Lotus Field. I think we just like start swinging through, right? fine. We don't really need to draw anything else at the moment. Like, we can just relax and make a bunch of tokens. They can't win. I don't think I have any more mana for this. No. do. I think they have to exile for each of those. They have to exile 8 things. Why is Dreadhorde indestructible? Chance for glory. Is this standard? No, this is historic. The stream title is inaccurate because I'm not changing it. We're about to play standard pretty soon. We're just doing a deck donation here. It's Star of Extinction, Haphazard. Like, you saw most of the pieces there since we went through the deck like 4 times. And we were able to clear the mind them. So that way they couldn't exile cards for Lich's Mastery. Which is pretty sweet. We're using Whirlwind of Thought for card advantage, and then we're running 8 sweepers. We just try not to die to aggro early. Our ramp, quote unquote, is Lotus Field with Blood Sun. So this loses all abilities, so it'll lose the hexproof, but it also loses the effect of coming into play tapped, and sacrificing 2 lands, we no longer have to do it. Pretty cool. And then we eventually win the game like you saw with Dawn of Hope tokens once our opponent's resources are just taxed. Cast cards from the opponent's graveyard. I'm not sure if it's worth it. It might be okay-ish, but... And thanks for the follow, man. I appreciate it. But yeah, we'll be playing some 4-color control. I made a deck guide. If you guys want to check that out, you can do !guide. And check that out. It's just a 20-minute video on the deck that I'm most interested in. Yeah, the opponent will quit sometimes too, but like you saw there, like sometimes the opponent will stick in it to the end. And that's like, those are some of the funnest games, is just when you're able to combo off and the opponent's just super stubborn on not scooping. Like, it's pretty good for us when that happens. This guy might be a bit of an issue. We can't really exile him. Gonna be putting through a lot of damage. Oh. We might have to shatter here. I think I wait one more turn to shatter. I just set up for Blood Sun here. That way this can come into play untapped. Yep, and now we have this set up for extra lands. Pretty cool. I still think we die to this, though. That Vanguard's probably just going to finish us off. Oh, Winota, we're just dead. Sweet. I actually didn't recognize the list. This is us just dying. There's no way we survive this. They just have like a lot of big creatures that come in. Yeah, Haktos hitting for 6. Angrath hitting for 4. Yeah, this is fine. All right. Well, that's pretty good ending to the video. So if you guys are interested in the list, you can find it in the link below. I'm pretty sure StriderStone will do like an outro for me anyway. I mean, 3 wins and I had a bit of fun. I would say the deck is pretty good. So we'll go ahead and claim our prizes here. So we paid 500 to get into the event. We get some vault progress here, and you know that could have been upgraded to a rare too. So overall, pretty satisfied, I would say. Yeah, turn 4 minus 72. Yeah, it was pretty rough. So I would say the deck might need like 1 more Dawn of Hope. I'm not so sure on the ECDs. Like, I feel like ECDs might be better as like bindings or something where we can just exile something forever for 1 less mana. Because we never get any planeswalkers back from this or any creatures. So this doesn't make a lot of sense to me for 5. Taxing the opponent's cool, but overall I feel like this card's kind of weak in the deck. Because he's looking for feedback here, StriderStone is. And you guys can find the exportable list down below. Probably be on some trashy site like Stream Decker or something, instead of Aether Hub. And I like the Star of Extinctions. The 2 Heliods are good too. Really good spot removal for artifacts and enchantments, which you never know what you're going to run into with Historic. So it's nice. Yeah, I mean, you could run Jace, but I mean, Immortal Sun kind of shuts him off. Like, it doesn't shut him off, but like his passive will still go off, but it just feels kind of weak. I don't think Jace is good at sea. I think it's just better. Like, the 2 Clear the Minds, they're fine too. Like, I love how this deck cycles and how it flows. It's just that there has to be like one more Dawn of Hope to find that would have been good, or one more Tutor or something even. Like, just not Elspeth Conquers Death, I don't think. Like a Bindings and then like maybe one more Dawn of Hope is probably my feedback for this. And like personally, like 27 lands is awesome in this list, honestly. Like I thought this was running 25, 26, and I'd be slightly satisfied with that. But 27 seems pretty stellar, honestly. Especially where most of our lands produce extra mana too, or not most of them, but some of them, like Lotus Field. So feels pretty good, man. Overall, it was pretty fun.
So these are going to be the differences between what I built and what WaifuGate said that he would change, which I actually do agree with a lot of his changes. So he didn't really end up changing anything except for possibly adding a second Dawn of Hope, which I can kind of agree with. There's not really many things that will exile your Dawn of Hope. Because Elspeth Conquers Death won't exile it. The only thing he really brought up was the holy shit, what is that card called? Hold on. Editor, take this part out. Agonizing Remorse, that's what the card's called. So people could get rid of it with Agonizing Remorse. It's not super likely, but it is possible. He also said possibly adding a second Tutor. That I can also agree with. I think I would be more. I think I would rather add in a second Tutor than add in a second Dawn of Hope, to be honest. I just think the likelihood of Dawn of Hope being exiled is slim to none. It's very rare that you even have it in your opening hand, and if it would actually get exiled. Just because I don't think it's one of those cards that's on the high list of things you want exiled out of somebody's hand, because it doesn't really have an effect until late game. And worst case scenario, you can just clear the mind, get all the shit back in your hand anyway. And since he didn't get rid of any of the Clear the Minds, this is his list on the right hand side, by the way. Left hand side is mine, left hand side is his. So he also got rid of Elspeth Conquers Death. This is something that I've been kind of talking about for a while. I don't really agree with the 5 mana cost in general. I don't think there's a reason to have that in this deck, because either we ramp up and get 6 mana on turn 4, or we don't ramp up and we need something to play on turn 4, whether it's a board wipe or something. But right now, the only thing we have are Whirlwind of Thought and board wipe. Those are the only 2 things. So I would rather have an Ixalan's Binding, which is exactly what WaifuGate said. So I am probably just going to do that. I will swap out Elspeth Conquers Death with Ixalan's Binding. With that in mind, it reduces the curve just a tiny bit, so I might take out 1 land to add in a second Dawn of Hope or a second Tutor. I'm not 100% sure. So with this particular list, WaifuGate is up to 61 cards, because we haven't really decided with what else he would take out on that side. But outside of that, I mean, he said he really liked the mana base and the way everything else flowed. So overall, I think it did really well as well. So I'm just glad he liked it. And he did all right. I mean, 3-3 the first time playing the deck, it's not too bad, but getting really unlucky. I mean, going against Mono Blue Tempo is very, very difficult to deal with. Going against, turn 4 Winona, take 80, 100 damage, something insane. Nah, you can't really. I mean, if you gamble that way, you just get destroyed. It just kind of happens. There's nothing you can really do about it. But again, make sure to check all of his stuff out. All of his social media links will be down below. Make sure to check out the stream as well. Yo, what up, YouTube? Yeah, we going here, Strider. Come on. You didn't really think that I was that type of person, did you? Thank you everyone so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you were even a little bit entertained by this video, please make sure to let me know down below. And if you have anything that you would like to see next, go ahead and leave that there too. And make sure to check out my live stream 5 days a week, every day except Sunday and Thursday. Stream times down below.